We just saw Horrible Bosses 2, and on this show I take my friends, we go see a movie, we review it in the car, and then we have a discussion. The review part is spoiler-free, so if you're on the fence trying to decide if this is the movie for you, you can watch the review without any spoilers. And if you've already seen the movie or don't care about spoilers and just want to hear everything we thought, watch the discussion part all the way to the end. I saw the first Horrible Bosses movie, and I didn't have a whole lot of hope that the sequel would be as good or, you know, let alone better. And it's not as good. The first one had a little bit more, I mean, just by nature of what it was a little bit more of an original idea. It was a little bit more interesting to see. There were a lot more surprises. This does the very safe thing of copying a lot of stuff from the first movie, but at the same time, it's not really about horrible bosses. It's more about this kidnapping plot, and Jennifer Aniston and Kevin Spacey are still kind of involved and kind of in it. It's kind of a bad sign that, like, the best laughs in the movie are the, like, blooper reel that they show at the end, when you see them screw up the lines that they're supposed to be saying. And a lot of the comedy is supposed to come from them just kind of vamping on each other and improvising. But the way that that was directed and the way that that's portrayed, it turns out just to be like three guys talking at once until one of them says shut up and then delivers the next line. It's not particularly funny. It's like a really, really obnoxious episode of Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where you have Jason Bateman playing Dennis and you have Jason Sudeikis playing Mac. So, and that's what it felt like to me. It felt like just find the most obnoxious possible plot for Always Sunny, and that's kind of what this movie was like. But without, like, this, I don't know, the stakes never really got higher or went anywhere. It was just always, can they get out from under Chris Pine, and are they going to end up on top, and are they going to survive? And, you know, in a sequel, you're pretty sure you know how everything's going to go. Does it have funny moments? Kinda. Nothing I'm going to remember. Like, I barely remember the first movie, and that's kind of a stretch. Like, that movie was fun, but it was really disposable. It really didn't, like, leave an impression on me. And it's like the first one, this one's also based on how great the casting is. You know, Kevin Spacey, Jason Bateman, Charlie Day, Jason Sudeikis, Jennifer Aniston, Jamie Foxx, Christoph Waltz. Like, it has just amazing stunt casting all the way through it. And so you're always interested to hear what these people are going to say, but for every joke that lands, there are 20 or 30 that don't. And sometimes it's by the same character. There was nothing that Jennifer Aniston did in this movie that was funny. And that's not her fault. She just didn't have anything to do. Like, she was just playing the same character as she did in the last movie. But they just didn't give her anything new or anything interesting or funny to work with. So I wouldn't bother. If you're really a big fan of the first one, maybe catch this one when it gets to video. But other than that, it didn't really do it for me. What'd you think?
I probably don't even have that much good stuff to say about it, honestly. Like, I actually kind of enjoyed the first one. I thought it was, like, a surprisingly funny comedy movie. I laughed more during the first one than I thought I would. And I tried really hard not to have the bar too high for this, because sequels in general, particularly comedy sequels, like, they fall so flat. And I realize this is, you know, two different movies, but, like, you know, like, I was really disappointed with, like, Anchorman 2, and I was actually very surprised and impressed by Dumb and Dumber 2. But so it was like, maybe this would be one way or the other. And it seemed like they repeated a lot of the stuff about the first one that was just kind of, like, not particularly that great. Like, they borrowed a lot of humor from the first one that wasn't what was particularly cool or unique about the first movie. and then they didn't do much to expand on, that humor, or to use, the strengths of the casting that they did have.
Yeah.
Because it's like, Christoph Waltz is incredible. Jamie Foxx is incredible. Jennifer Aniston can be incredible. Like, there's all of these people in there. And, of course, the main cast of, Charlie Day and Bateman and Sudeikis, and, like, they're funny people. And there is just so much time where they're arriving at a very predictable punchline that when it gets there, it's like, I was literally checking my watch often, like, how long before we finally resolve how this is obviously going to, come to its conclusion.
Right.
And then when it finally does, it's like, like you said, it's like stay in the theaters for another minute or two, as they're opening the rolling of the credits, because those were actually the scenes that generated, the outtakes, the most like smiles and laughter from me, because the rest of it was too terribly predictable. And even the things that they tried really hard to make funny or, entertaining, certain things that they have, like Jennifer Aniston say, it's like, I'm not too taken aback by it. And it's like, I feel like I'm supposed to have a different reaction than I did, where it's like, oh, I can't believe that Jennifer Aniston just said that, or wow, look at her in that skimpy outfit, or whatever.
I mean, that was what they did in the first one, and that was a surprise in the first one, because that's not a character type that she plays very often. Often. She doesn't play that character at all. That's like the opposite of what she's normally playing, so... Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. We'll get into the discussion part. One of the other things that really kind of irritated me was that in the first one, they had, each character had their own boss, and they had their scenes by themselves with the boss. So you had Sudeikis and Colin Farrell, and you had Charlie Day and Jennifer Aniston, and you had these different dynamics, but the point is that you got to see those characters separately, and they had more of a sense of them being different in character. This one they're all completely interchangeable.
Yeah.
Like, they have the exact same personality. They're Jason Bateman is slightly smarter than the other two, but only slightly, and he still goes along with whatever they need him to for plot convenience. They just didn't do anything smart with the characters to make them work the way that they should.
Yeah, and in the first one, you kind of, before they really expose, like, the heist or whatever, it's like, they do all of that, relationships with the different bosses to make you really side with those characters, and it's like, all right, I kind of hope they pull this off, and it'll be nice to see them pull it off, or see them be bumbling idiots about it. And now it's like you can't be surprised by anything that happens in this movie. Really.
Yeah, because any line could be delivered by any character.
Yeah.
There's no uniqueness about the characters.
Yeah.
There's uniqueness in the delivery, but that's all the actors. And that's what I was getting back to about saying the movie lives and dies on its cast, because it dies on its writing. The writing is just not there to make it work. Watching the guys improvise off of each other and stuff like that is fun for a little while, but it quickly becomes the whole movie, and every scene just becomes this slog. Like, okay, they're going to talk over each other for the next 90 seconds, and we're just going to have to wait until the next line that actually matters to the plot's going to come through.
And we're in spoiler mode now, too, so, like, there's a scene where you're literally waiting for them to wait out a train. And it's like one of those things where the joke is, you're waiting so long for this train to go by, too. And it's like near the end of the movie, and it's such an obvious, like, I felt kind of insulted, where it's like, all right, I get it, but I'm watching a movie, and now it's like, why don't they cut to paint drying?
I thought that joke actually worked because they shut the hell up. That joke was they're all just sitting there chewing licorice.
Sitting there eating licorice, and but I don't know.
Like, that was at least a change from Charlie Day and Jason Sudeikis, like, coming up with stupid crap, and Jason Bateman shooting them down and being sarcastic about it.
I can't defend it.
Because that was the whole rest of the movie.
Nah. It's a comedy movie. I mean, write a joke. Write something funnier than, four guys eating licorice and waiting for a train in the middle of a car chase. It There was a lot of jokes like that fell flat, but that was probably the best example of one that I was just like, all right, I see what they're trying to do here, but it's not evoking any kind of guffaw from me. So, anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, that's Horrible Bosses 2. If you like the way we do these reviews, please like the video, subscribe, check out all the written and video reviews at dalemaxfield.com, and thanks for watching.